the automation manager for To Automate Anything, which is a Sydney-based company. So today agenda is a little bit more about me and about To Automate Anything and how to implement RPA in business. We will be looking into a little bit about RPA for who is joining RPA session for the first time and new to RPA, how to identify processes, roles and responsibilities, and more about process analyst and the automation business analyst in more in detail. So I'm a UiPath community MEP since 2020. This is the 4th time I'm a proud MEP for UiPath. And my expertise around Studio Orchestrator, Studio X, and test automation. And my achievements, I'm certified in almost all the certificates here. UI Advanced Certified RPA Developer, Automation Business Analyst Certified, Most Valuable Professional as well, being a trainer for more than around 5 years, training mainly UiPath. And I'm also one of the proud author of UiPath RPA Associate Certification Guide, which is one of the top selling in Amazon, co-authored with few other most wonderful resources. And this guide will guide you to clear the certification. As part of To Automate Anything, although we provide other services including education and corporate training and mobile apps and software product development, intelligent robotic process automation is our core service, and we are an authorized UiPath partner as well. So as Rohit mentioned, so it's a great chance to become a UI automation business analyst certified through this one. So once you attend this 4 series session, you are already there. 25% is done, and then you need to complete this diploma course in academy before this date of September 10, and you need to post your diploma. Once you achieved, you need to share it in LinkedIn and share it also with Rohit. So the first 10 participants will be getting 50% of certification. This would be definitely helping you clear this certification.
Yes. So the UI ABA, I mean, Rajneesh already mentioned that he is already certified. So it is a $300 certification. It has $300 certification fee attached to it, but dedicated for the participants of this sessions, like all of you, we are extending a voucher so that it's easier for you to not just complete the certification because you're already in path of the learning journey over here. So I'll just repeat what Rajneesh already mentioned so that you haven't missed over here. So there are 4 sessions in this series. You need to attend all those sessions. So I'll also share the link to the series over here so that you can register for all the sessions in case you have not already done that. So this is already the first session. You have to register for 3 more and attend those. It will happen, as I said, on Wednesdays, the same time as this session. Then on Academy, you have to complete the RPA Business Analyst Foundation. It will be very critical for you anyway to complete that course, to be I would say to have a better chance at the certification for automation business analyst. So this is part of the criteria as well, and whatever you are learning, whatever you're earning in terms of credentials, you want to share it, you want to brag about it to your peers, to your networks, to your colleagues, and everyone in your community. So do that and share that link with me on this email, and the first 10 of you will get the certification vouchers of worth 50% off. You can then plan the exam post that anytime, and then avail this. The certification is open already, so it's not really something that you need to wait. If you are in a hurry, you can also complete that in advance, but this vouchers will be processed after September 10th. So that's it. For any queries, you can always reach out to me and I'll be there to support. Rajneesh, over to you.
Yeah. Thanks, Rohit. So yeah, more clarity now. So getting this certification not only help you understand RPA, but also help you improve in your career as well. Right, so to become an RPA business analyst. So this is another exciting news. So in case if you are in Sydney, make sure you register to this event, which is the community day. So we get a chance to meet most of us. And it will be a very good get together for all the RPA professionals. So in case if you are there, please don't miss it out. So yeah, now let us dive into this RPA business analyst. So I am aware that not everybody in this meeting are from RPA background. So I have a request from few of you that you are working in some other business analyst, a normal business analyst, and you want to move your career into technical or a RPA business analyst. And somebody from testing or development, you want to move into RPA business analyst. So I just want to take you through RPA as well. So RPA, it is the nowadays most used technology in most of the businesses, and it is automation of work, right? So it is automation of work using digital robots or software robots, right? So imagine a world where you can think about all this repeated and mundane and the slow task. So you are doing it again, over again and again, right? So the monotonous work that you are doing in your business. So if you want to convert that into most interesting work, then you need RPA to convert it, right? So that is what RPA is basically called. And why we need to go for RPA? So because first of all, it is non-invasive in nature, which means you no need to build a lot of underlying technology. So traditionally, if you want to build a software, right, to solve a business problem, right? So what we usually do is we analyze with a group of people and build a new software, right? So which will take quite a long time. In this agile world, nobody accept that to wait for such a long time to see a software to solve the business problem. Instead, you can use RPA that will communicate with multiple technologies to deliver that, to solve that problem. So that it is non-invasive in nature. So you no need to build a lot of software and waste your time. So it is easy to scale. At times you see the businesses need a lot of work, right? They need to deliver so many functionalities, and they need to increase their sales, or so many examples. So the volume of the business is too high at certain point of time. Maybe during Christmas period and New Year period, they have more sales. But during March, April, they have very less sales. So at times they need more number of robots, and at times they need less number of robots. So it is easy to scale either up or down, right? Future proof. So in this world of AI, every day you can see at least 10 to 20 AI tools coming out, ChatGPT and so many advanced technologies in generative AI and so many coming up. So any no problem, any new technologies coming in, UiPath ready-made they readily accept any new technology. They are easily communicate with them, and we can automate any new software that is going to come in the next 10 years or 20 years as well, right? So we are always ready to face the future of technology. And the customer experience in a business, of course, it will increase, because you are giving a solution quickly and readily and fastly, and all the average handling time is more reduced, and the quality is also increased with very less human error. So of course, the customer experience will definitely scale up or increase. Right. And compliance and regulations in this fast changing world, you can see all the government regulations are changing then and there. Every year there has been tax regulations and government regulations, legal regulations, so many things going on and changing. All these businesses also has to accommodate with this change. So how frequently they can deliver? So only if they are using RPA and using this technology, they can be able to comply with these regulations. Right, that is why we need RPA. So in order to implement RPA, so what RPA can actually do in your business is it can do a lot of stuff, right? So whatever you do, so basically how you work with a computer, how any business operate in their systems, right? Either through keyboard or mouse, right? So that is the basically two means of communication. So how we communicate is by talking or by actions, but how the business communicates is using their systems by providing inputs like from documents or something. So they provide keyboard inputs, or where they basically use the mouse clicks navigate through screens and provide inputs and process and do, they process the output. So all the operations that you are doing in your systems, in your computer, so everything can be automated using robots. So these robots are not something that you see in the movies or in the manufacturing industry. So these are robots that are a software program that are installed in your computer, right, or in a server or in a virtual machine. So that can work on demand, either by clicking it, triggering it, or by scheduling it. It will automatically run. So what it can perform? So it can automate emails, right? So basically, for most of us, how our day starts by reading our email. So our boss assigns us a task, and we are bound to do that. So every day, your task basically starts from an email, and you read the email, and you came to know, so okay, you need to open 2-3 applications and process a transaction from one end to the other end, and you go through a sequence of steps that is called a process, and you produce an output, and that output will serve as an input to the next process, right? So another one person, he gets an email in a workflow, either to accept or deny your request, right? So these are kind of process settings in a business world. So you can automate your emails, log into applications, you can move files, folders, and copying and pasting data from any applications to any applications, and filling in forms in a websites or in any kind of Word document or Excel document, whatever it is. You can read and write into databases. You can create reports and check the performance of different applications. And you can, so today data is a big thing, right? So data is kind of a fuel. So you can scrape data from different sources. It can be financial data, it can be your personal data, anything. So, but if you know the rules, what data you need to scrape from the internet, RPA or UiPath platform very well do that. Right, so IoT data collection and analysis, performing simple to complex calculations. So these are the most used businesses nowadays, right? So we use a lot of spreadsheets and do calculations. No matter whatever business it is, they use, by default, they use spreadsheets to do their calculations or track some details around their business. So they use spreadsheets. And extracting data from scanned and computer generated documents. So if you see the scanned documents, so you can extract the data from the scanned documents. For example, invoice, receipts, you can extract data from the scanned documents. And automated customer service. So a lot of processes, they are still manual. So, sometimes when you call an automated customer service, you are put on hold for a long time. What they are doing in the background is they are looking up your information in all the applications, which is manual and taking a lot of time, which means the customer service, the satisfaction index is very low at that time, right? So when you call, they respond with actually what you reached with the problem, instead of escalating to different levels. If they are able to provide solutions, the customer satisfaction index is really high. So we can automate a lot of processes in that area. And receive and send emails depends on your business scenario. If your business has a certain scenario, on for this scenario you need to do some process. So based on your business rules, we can process emails as well, right? So those are different things. For a few things that we can do, but we are still capable of doing more and more things, right? So you must know about this gentleman. He's Daniel Dines, who is the CEO of UiPath. So his vision is about the robot for every person, right? So just like Bill Gates envisioned about a computer at every home, so his vision is about the robot for every person, and which is becoming true nowadays. And that's why you all are here learning about UiPath and to learn how to make a robot for yourself. So how RPA can be adapted, right? So it is kind of a enterprise terminology. So how RPA can be adapted in an enterprise. So it is kind of an automation first mindset. So you must decide, first of all, I'm not going to do any kind of monotonous and repeated work again and again. So which actually belongs to a robot. So this kind of work actually belong to the robot. So somehow we took that work from the robot and we are doing it today, the same repeated work again and again. So the enterprise must cultivate this culture of sharing and collaborating with the ideas to share that, okay, these are the repeated works we are doing on daily basis, and these are supposed to be run, done by the robots. Let us give this task to the robots, and we can perform much value added and better work, right? So let us teach the robot what to do in this case of situations of repeated and manual work, and let the robot do those kind of work. And because the robots are capable of learning the skills from us, right? All the rule-based work, all the repeated work, we can teach them. So the robot will work for us, and we can do much better work of doing, bringing the customer satisfaction index really high, or the processing times a bit low, or increasing the quality of our service. So these are the things that we are supposed to do as a human, not the monotonous and repeated work that robot does, right? So that if that mindset is cultivated in an enterprise, so definitely most of the processes can be automated. Right. So how do we identify process for robotic process automation? So as a business analyst, you need to understand, so what are the processes belongs to RPA, right? So not every processes can be automated. Not everything can be automated. So there are certain processes that can be automated. So the basic 5 criteria are, so first of all, it should be a rule-based process, right? So every day you come and you're doing the same pattern of work again and again. So those are called as rule-based work, right? So the first condition is okay. So it is called rule-based. So this process belongs to RPA, right? So low exception rate. So we cannot simply automate those applications that has a lot of exception rate, right? So wherever you click in an application and it is throwing a lot of error in that application, and every time you are getting so many exceptions in a database or a Windows application or a mainframe and some connectivity error, we cannot automate those kind of applications, right? So we need some stable applications there with very low exception rate. So those are the next criteria. So that kind of applications can be automated. Repetitive actions. So you are doing the same process today, the same process you are doing tomorrow, and all the day you are doing the same thing again and again. So which is taking a lot of time of you, and sometimes we tend to make errors, right? Even though we are very good at doing some process, on certain day we not our good day, so that we make some mistakes in that application, and it is a error, so we create exception in that application. So those belongs to RPA, kind of repetitive actions, right? And standard input. So standard input, we all know, so it comes from keyboard or mouse. So those are the standard inputs. And then it comes from email and documents, PDFs, and any kind of inputs that is readable by us manually. So those are called standard input. So what are non-standard inputs? So those are multilingual, multi-language, and those are the scanned documents and handwritten. So those are called non-standard inputs. So standard inputs, when we copy and paste it in a text document, it actually works, right? So those are standard inputs. And a stable process, and your process should have a rule stating that every time you are following the same process, right? So tomorrow your process input comes from email, and tomorrow your process input comes from some other documents. That is not accepted. So if you say, okay, it comes only through email, the process always comes through email. The robot will always look into the email, right? But if you have folders, you should mention that rule as well, right? So you need to define your process, your criteria. Then only it is called a stable process. So those are the process. If your business process meets this 5 criteria, you can write it down. It is very well, this can be automated. So we also come across the automation complexity, which we put it in a complexity matrix and find out what are the types of applications and how many screens you are navigating and what are the types of input, just to see how easily we can automate that. So the less complex and the more features it gives or more benefit it creates, we say that as a low-hanging fruit, and we easily automate that. So we perform all those complexity assessments as a business analyst. Right. So if you have so far any questions, you can type it there. Otherwise, we will discuss at the end of the session. Right. So, first of all, let us look a little bit more deeper into a process, right? So a process is nothing but it is a business process. Right. So any kind of so a process involves a sequence of steps, right? It has a sequence of steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, lot of steps you perform. One is reading from email, and 2 is launching an application, 3 is processing some data. So it is kind of a transactional processes or a sequential processes, right? Step-by-step process you are doing. It's nothing but a list of rules that what you are doing in a process, right? So to perform a process, you need certain inputs to the process, right? That input comes from an email or a folder, whatever it is, and there is something happening in that process. This process will create you an outcome, right? It will create another file, or it will create a transaction in a database. So it creates an output, right? So if you are doing the same process again and again, so that is called a process. And you, as a business analyst, we are bound to document all these processes very clearly. So it is a step-by-step instructions and rules, like we know all about the process, right? And what is a procedure? So the procedure is, it is like how we execute this process, right? So because one process can be input for another process. Within a process, there might be multiple processes. So for a procedure, we'll have a prerequisite, how the process will be initiated, how the process will be performed, who performed this process, where you can see the input, and where you can process the output, and what are the other dependencies involved. Is there any applications that are depending on this input? There are so many procedures that are available, so that you need to, it is kind of a document that you need to create as part of the procedure. So process is how the business should operate, and procedure is what are the situations this process can be executed, right? So these are multiple documents that are involved in this process, which is currently there, that we are about to automate. Right, so let us look into an example. So this is kind of a order to cash process example. So first of all, a process order is received via email, right? So one of the agent opens that email attachment and check that product code is present in that purchase order. So you can imagine a purchase order. So there are a lot of details in that purchase order. So he's looking for a product code only in that purchase order, right? So if the product code present in the PO, then he opens the ERP system. So now we are adding more details. So there are one ERP system, and he runs a specific ERP transaction, right? If the product code is not present, then he look it in the master data file, right? So if the product code is present, then he opens the ERP system and runs a specific ERP transaction. If it is not present in the master data file, then the agent sends out an email to the master data analyst to update the file, right? So once the product code is provided, the agent populates all the required field in the ERP screen as per their requirements in the purchase order, right? So next, what the agent does, he generates and validates the sales order. So the entire thing is the order to cash process, so which is already listed, the 9 points. So you can also list whatever business you come across. So if it fits into the it can be automated category, you can list down what is happening step by step, initially at least, to understand into at least the intermediate level, in the beginner level or intermediate level. So people should understand. So you put it in a simple plain English of different points, what's happening step by step, right? So this must be considered as a requirement of that order to cash process. So the next thing what we do is the current state process, right? So this is called as is process, which is currently what is going on there. So you can see all these are highlighted in blue color. So blue means it is manual. So currently all these things are manually done. So if you want to automate the process, so first of all, you need to understand what is going on currently in that business. So what are the different applications used and who is doing what? So everything you need to understand. First, you write it in a simple plain English format, and next you convert that into a current state diagram. So this is the basic requirement for doing an RPA process. We need to understand the requirements clearly. Then only we can next think about the automation state. So in the current state, we know there are 3 different applications. So this diagram is called as a swim lane diagram. But you can draw different diagrams based on whatever tools you have, right? So as a business analyst, we need to be aware of different tools in the market. Like Visio is one of the tool that you can draw this kind of flow, create the flow chart. And there are a lot of open source tools as well. So you can also try Lucid Chart. So those kind of tools you can use to create this kind of swim lane diagram or a block diagram, flow chart, anything you can create. So in the left hand side, you can see there is a ERP, desktop, and Outlook. So those are the applications. So those operations happening in the ERP are listed here, and the desktop. So first open ERP, and actually it starts in the Outlook, right? So first we need to open the email, and open the PO in the email attachment. So that is the Outlook part. And then it comes to the desktop, where we product code present or not in the master data file. So if it is present, then we open the ERP. If it not present, then in the master data file, we look up for the product description. So the entire thing, whatever we have it in the order to cash process, we have converted that into the current state diagram, right? So using this current state, then you need to give the future state, right? So in the future state, see, not all the steps can be automated. Few steps are manual, so still they are manual, but all the other things can be automated, right? So I think by now like what is the RPA business analyst doing, right? So it is like more and more work that you are doing as a RPA business analyst on a daily basis. You will be meeting with the business stakeholders, right? So who is already a business analyst there, the traditional business analyst, or who is performing the business operations? So you'll be meeting with these kind of stakeholders, right, to understand the business process and to identify these opportunities for automation, right? So you are very good in analyzing skills. You analyze the business thoroughly and document them. So documentation is the basic skill for a business analyst. So whether you are a traditional business analyst or a technical BA or a RPA BA, you are very good at documentation. You need to analyze and document them in crisp and clear detail of what's happening in their current business. And then you can work with the RPA solution architect to design the workflows and recommend a future state of the process. So if you're highly technical and not highly technical, at least to a level of extent you understand the UiPath platform and what is RPA and how it works, so you are pretty much good in suggesting the future state of the process. So I recently worked in a business analyst capacity. So since I understand what is UiPath Studio and how the orchestrator works, and having been developed already multiple processes, so I converted the current state into the future state, recommending, okay, these are these things that can be automated or these cannot be automated. Few things require manual inputs. So those are the process manually is a manual process. So you need to mention that and create the future state process, right? So that is what you need to do. So as a role of a business analyst, as we discussed already, so you need to go through the discovery phase. So you process and synthesize the data and analyze it clearly, right? So how do you do that? Basically by your communication with multiple stakeholders and understanding the processes and lot of tools and documentations, right? So you will be given a lot of inputs regarding the process with the discussion to the multiple stakeholders. So the better way is to conduct meetings, right? So how you collect information. So you can conduct meetings with the stakeholders and conducting workshops. And maybe you can shadow the business resources stakeholders for a day or two to understand actually what they are doing, for you to document the process more clearly, right? So that is how you do. So you are going to be a key resource here. So kind of a catalyst in the entire RPA transformation journey. So we are converting a lot of manual processes into automated process, so which is kind of a automation journey that we are going through as a team. But if you are a business analyst, you are going to be a main catalyst in that. So you will be an interface between the business stakeholders and the technical team. So who is the technical team? So the technical team consists of a couple of RPA leads, RPA developers, and there are RPA, infrastructure engineers, and it's kind of a technical team who is building, working on that UiPath platform to create the solution. And there is another certain team from where we get the requirement. They are called the business representatives. So between the business team and the technical team, you will be playing a vital role, interface between these two teams, because there is a huge gap between these two teams. Because the business team, they are not very much aware of the robots and the tools and technologies here. And the technical team, at times, they are not very much familiar with the business case that is happening here. So the business rules and the data. So a lot of gaps in that team as well. So you play a key role making this communication gap clear. Right, so to bridge between them. So this will be a key role. It is not that easy as I speak. So it takes a lot of effort in understanding, analyzing, synthesizing, and discovering a lot of information. So you need to ask a lot of valid questions and document everything that is required to properly convert their business problem, because you are addressing a business problem. So we need to solve that problem. So you are kind of giving a solution to that problem, right? So it requires a lot of effort to do that. So you are playing a key role in that. So all this skill will help you understanding this technology, this platform, and doing a business analyst certification will help you up to a certain level. And then depends on your experience, will take you the next level, right? So first of all, it is a high level process map. So you'll be doing a 2 level of maps, right? So you can call that one as the human path, and next is the robot path. The human path is the current state of the diagram, whatever currently we are doing manually, that is the human path. And the robot path is the future state, how the robot is going to perform that process, right? So you can give that in a very high level for anyone to understand. Now that whatever we written in a plain English has been converted into this as is and to be. So in this high level, anyone can easily understand by these images, and the middle is the application, and how long it takes, and what's the name of that step happening. So we understand a human is opening the Outlook, he's opening the email and purchase order, right? So another next thing, the first thing took 2 minutes, and the next time he opens the desktop application, check for product code, it takes 1 minute. So we calculate how much time it takes manually. So that is very essential step to take. And we write in a high level what are the name of the steps that is happening, right? We are not diving in detail, but it's only the high level. So anybody can understand, okay, these are the manual steps that's going on, right? In the 2B process, anybody can understand that here is a robot that is performing this Outlook, and a robot is opening this desktop application and ERP application, and how long it takes. So are we saving any time here? So yes, we have saved 50% of time in the Outlook. From 2 minutes, it is like converted to 1 minute. So overall, how much does it take? So currently, if you are saving 50% of time, that is really a great outcome. So we know what is the average handling time now. So if you reduce that, so there will be not only the time and cost benefit, there will be much more benefit when you automate a lot of process, because it will increase the satisfaction, the customer satisfaction, and the employee satisfaction. It's much more than the cost and the time value that we speak. Right, so you need to see once you implement you address a business problem, and you need to really evidence how much the business stakeholders are relieved from the pain of doing the monotonous work. If you evidence that joy, you will know that what you are actually done to that team or the entire organization. So that is why I call you as a catalyst, as an RPA business analyst. You will evidence that. So actually, we are finally, it is the entire phase, right? So if you look at this traditional building of the software, it will also go through this kind of software development lifecycle model, right? So you will start with the kickoff and requirement and design, and you do a lot of stuff like in the design itself, and then you do a testing and go through an UAT phase. So very similarly, this RPA also goes through a different phase. So which is kind of a kickoff. So initially, the RPA team members, the key stakeholders, the solution architect and project manager comes through this one. And they discuss the automation readiness about infrastructure, test dev environment, and what is kind of the input they use, and about the process and output, right? And then we go through the business case and technical validation. So we see, what are the tasks that we are going to do, what is the business problem that we are going to do that. So how many, what are the input, right? We ask the opportunity assessment, right? We have a lot of process assessment tool, right? So the task mining, process mining. So all those tools will be looking into the next sessions. Right, so we'll go through all those tools, right? So before we go into that tool, so we actually need to know by manually how do we do this assessment, right? Typically by interviewing the business stakeholders, how difficult it is, the current state of the process, right? How many steps are involved, and where the data come from, and what are the data, and what are the different processes that we have. So these are the things that we validate, right? And then it will go through the process analysis stage, where you are the key resource in that, right? So the key resource, you as a key resource, what you will do is analyze more on the data, on the details, whatever you have collected previously, and then you create something called as a process design document, right? So in the process design document, so that is the basic step, the fundamental step of RPA. So you need to create the process design step. So this deliverable will help the RPA and the core development team to understand what we need to actually develop. So the process design document, the main content of the process design document is the current state of the process. So you already covered about, about the current state, what is going on. So there are several steps and several data and the expected process, everything about that process. So you document that clearly. And you can also provide a future state, recommendation of the future state as well in the process design document. And you clearly capture all the step-by-step information about how this data, where you need to extract the data, or how you need to input into the next application. You need to mention the data level details as well as the field level details. So also you will be doing something called a process mapping and field mapping as well. And in the field mapping, that which data goes into what field, using kind of your diagrams or using Excel, whatever it is you comfortable. You need to communicate in such a way, everybody in the team understand where this data comes from, what process is going on, and what is the expected result, right? So once that is done, the solution design team, the core RPA development team, so they will get your process design document and convert it to a document called a solution design document. So in the solution design document, they have a clear step of what this solution design is actually going to do. Right, so that is how it works. So they will convert into a solution design. It is more about the orchestrator and about the data, how it handle, what framework they are going to use, and what are the different assets they are going to use, the input data, output data. So everything is considered, and they build the solution. So once the solution is done, so you need to perform a testing. And also you need to perform user acceptance testing in the pre-prod environment. And you need to consider all the environments, how you need to move this before going to the production. So how you need to handle, so everything it is already devised, and you perform that as per the plan, as per the strategy that we perform, right? So yeah, so once those are done, you pretty much know this can be delivered. But whatever we do, the develop and deliver, if the process analysis is not done and the current state and future state diagram are not done properly, the entire solution will be there will be some problem in the entire solution. So the analysis and design stage plays a key role. That is why RPA business analyst nowadays are in huge demand, the good RPA business analyst. So Yeah, so that's why we go through this session, and doing this will help you. Taking this certification will, if you're a business analyst already, definitely it helps you grow to the next level as a RPA business analyst to understand the technology and recommend that future state of the solution. Right. So what are the industries that we can work in? Basically we can do in any kind of industry, right? So we cannot be that too specific about one industry, right? So in RPA, it can be applied across any kind of industry. Basically, what I talk about is very pretty much simple. It is keyboard input and mouse inputs, right? So if you are doing that in a repeated way, in a patternized way, and monotonous way, whatever you do in any kind of industry, we can automate that, right? So it is common across all the industries, right? In the services, there are certain processes we display here, but some of the processes can be common for apply to any industries, right? The customer invoicing is any industry applies that. I say it is a services industry, but any industry can does that. Claim processing, call center processes, every industry has a call center process, right? So you can automate that. And predominantly in the financial and the healthcare sector, there are many manual processes that are automated. Nowadays, most of the communications that you receive from a bank or any financial services industry, it comes from a robot. And when you are sending email, it reaches a robot, and robot is the one performing at least 50% of your operations in most of the financial sector, right? In the healthcare industry as well, digitizing and updating patient records, invoice settlement, report generation, and so many things. So they are bound by the government rules and regulations and compliances across all the industry, but especially in the healthcare. So they are going through this kind of automation to ensure they comply with that regulations, right? So you can automate multiple processes within the healthcare. And education, technology, manufacturing, the course registrations, incident managements, and payment processing, invoice processing as usual. So there are so many processes that we can automate in that sector. Yeah, so if you come across certain scenario or use case, let us know and we can input how we can automate these ideas as well, right? So in the next community session is the effective business process management using process mining. So today we saw how do we do it manually, but next time we see how do we use UiPath process mining tool to do effective business process management, right? So this is the QR code that you can register for the all the upcoming sessions. Right. So to automate anything as well, we provide in-depth training in all the certifications. And if you have any specific requirement, reach out to me through LinkedIn, connect with me to discuss more. But we have all the academic courses in UiPath. It provides all necessary information for you to clear the certification, right? So if you're able to do that, that also helps. And yeah, so do you have any questions so far from this session? Okay, so I got one question from Aruna Pillai. Is it necessary for RPA BA to have UiPath developer certifications and have worked as developer first before becoming BA? No, Aruna, that is not true. So you no need to be a UiPath developer certified to be a RPA BA. So this RPA business analyst certification is more than enough. But if you have a basic level of understanding, is recommended. If you are any specific platform, if you're working in a business, right? So if you understand the very foundation level of experience of how that tool works or how the platform works, that will help you make more communication with the development team. So you understand a certain technological keywords or terminologies you will understand. So only for that, I recommend you to take some foundation level certifications, not certifications, at least the training from the UiPath Academy is more than enough. But yeah, RPA BA certification is essential for more performing better as a RPA business analyst. So next from Kumar Trinath, so do we require to mention exceptions into the workflow in PDD? So this is yes required. So we need to know, what are the positive workflows and what are the negative positive conditions and negative conditions, right? So you need to document everything for a proper input. What is the expected result, right? And but at times you are not providing the right input what the robot is supposed to do. So yes, exception also needs to be captured in a separate exception section. So I did not go in depth into the PDD, so which can be covered in one of the upcoming sessions as well. I can go through that document. But when you go take that training as well, you get that template. So you get to know more about PDD. So yeah, you can customize the PDD as per your business requirement, business need, whether you can add few sections or delete few sections, right? But current state and future state is a must. We cannot update that. Ash, how do we assess business case value? So yeah, business case value, we need to perform, it is a business complexity matrix. Right, so we assess that based on how much value we bring to the business, right? So the more benefit, the more value we produce, right? The more time we save or more complexity we save, so more the value. So we can put it into a complexity matrix. So we have a separate matrix to map, depends on the type of applications used and what kind of, how many screens we navigate. So those kind of things. And it is important in this business case value, we calculate currently how much time is consumed to perform this manually doing that business problem. And by doing the automation, how much amount of time we are going to save. So we have a tool called Automation Hub, right? So we will, throughout this session, we will be also seeing about that in one of the session. So how we capture information in the Automation Hub. So Automation Hub itself will give you this complexity, apply in the matrix and give you the actual value of how much it is going to save by applying this one. Right. Does that answer your questions? Or if you have any follow-up questions, you can ask me directly, or you can also put it in the chat. So yeah, I give this time mainly to how interact with you to understand. Yeah, Praharsha Kanaparthi. Yeah, go ahead, Prakasha.
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Prakasha, go ahead.
Yep, I have small questions. I already completed the associate and also advanced certifications in UiPath Academy, and presently I'm doing the business analyst certification. So, to become a business analyst in a company, do I need to finish all three of the certifications, or do I need to become an MVP to become a BA in a company?
Excellent. Thanks, Praharsha. So first of all, congratulations for you completing the foundation and the advanced. So to complete the RPA business analyst, I think there is specific requirement. You need to have a certain a level of experience to do that. But yeah, we can take it offline, but considering that you have that experience, maybe you have some internship or have some kind of practical experience in applying your knowledge from your foundation and advanced, yes, you are eligible to take that advanced. So assuming that you have that.
I've already finished the advanced as well.
Okay, excellent. Then I think you can go for that. Yeah, so to get a job, so your question was, what you need to get the job in RPA BA, right?
No, means I don't want a job, but I just had the questions.
Okay, yeah. So that is enough. Like you already got the skills, so you will understand all the development terminologies. So in the business wide, you need to have a little bit more analyzing skill of the business problem, and having exposure to all the tools in the business analyst stack. So you will get automation hub, the process mining, and
I already
task
do know
mining.
automation hub as well.
Okay,
And
excellent.
presently I'm doing the overview of task mining diploma in the business analyst one, so certification. So I'm doing that.
Okay, excellent. Go for it. Go for the certification, business analyst, and also try to go for the MVP as well. Advanced wishes for that.
And also I have small question as well. So how do we become an MVP of UiPath?
So, by providing your knowledge with your friends, share knowledge with more of your friends. So are you in school or college?
School.
School. Okay. Which standard you studying?
I'm 8th class.
Okay, that's great. So with all your friends, you can share your knowledge that you are getting from the community. So you can conduct sessions with your friends, share about this technology, and make more certified. So basically share this in the community. There are multiple ways you can share your knowledge through multiple social media channels, LinkedIn, YouTube. So many ways you can share. So if you are sharing that, yeah, you're pretty much good to apply for MVP.
Okay.
Excellent. Keep it up.
Yep, thank you.
Good. Anybody else? Any questions? Chat. Can you please post the link to the BA certification? Yeah, sure, Rosh. We'll do that as well. Any other questions? Anybody? Now this link. I truly appreciate the effort you put into making such a productive experience. Thank you very much, Ankit Sharma. So you may also connect with me and Rohit in LinkedIn. So in case, if I have missed something, you can check with me. Yeah, other than that, I really hope you enjoyed this specific session. So if you have any questions at any time, you can reach out to me or Rohit. At the same time, I recommend you to take the other 3 sessions as well, which will have more information into it. I thank you very much for coming today, and hope to see you all in upcoming sessions as well. Thank you very much. Bye. Thanks all. Thank you all. Signing off. See you next time.